Guin Saga is a best-selling heroic fantasy novel series by Japanese author Kaoru Kurimoto, and it has been in publication since 1979. One of the amazing facts about Guin Saga is that it has 130 volumes and 22 side story novels. Unfortunately, Kaoru was working on the 130th volume of Guin Saga up until May 23rd of 2009, after which point she became ill and stopped writing, and she would later pass away in that same year. But it's a fantastic tale that centers around a warrior named Guin, a half-man, half-leopard, who has amnesia and doesn't know who he is. This is one of the tales that played the main inspiration for Kentaro Miura's Berserk. And once you hear the first 3 volumes, you'll soon realize that there's a lot of influences in here. But before we get to that, guys, I got an awesome ad about excellent anime merchandise. Two adolescents, Rinda and Ramus, escape from some soldiers. As it turns out, Rinda is the successor to the sacred throne of Perot, also known as Paris. In a flashback, the Mongolian army attacked Paris, forcing the king to order his children to escape. Before they did so, however, they watched their father get impaled by multiple spears. "Don't let them get away! All that is Paris must die! We'll live to rebuild Paris," says Rinda. Just then, a mysterious, dark presence lurks within the woodland area. Was that a demon I felt here in the Rudewood? The twins are identified by a soldier on a horse, and Ramus is thusly caught. Rinda lunges in to protect her brother, but the soldier slaps her down. He then forces himself upon her with evil intentions. She spits in his face, but he happily licks it off. "Barbarian! Animal! Gora pig! May Janus strike you with his lightning bolts and burn you all to a crisp." Just then, the mysterious presence from before starts walking towards the group. The hulking creature then approaches the vile soldier and begins to squeeze down on his head. After killing him, we find out the mysterious man has the body of a human and the head of a leopard. The enemy soldiers rush in, but the leopard-headed man uses the dead man to whack the others. After escaping, Rinda and Ramus wonder who the man is. "It's magnificent. Let's run for it now," says Ramus. The leopard-headed man stares them down as Ramus attempts to escape. The leopard-headed man attempts to speak, but eventually collapses to the ground. Elsewhere, the Mongolian army has successfully captured Paris, the jewel of Midland. Midland, eh? Sounds kind of familiar. While they captured and beheaded the king and queen, the prince and princess managed to escape the Black Knights. "Soldiers, our victory in the Black Dragon War was justice." That being said, there is still unfinished business to do, capturing the 2 treasures of Paris, as they were. The general pulls off his helmet, revealing that it's a girl. The twin jewels are to be captured in order to unify the 3 countries of Gora, and beyond it, for the unification of all within the borders of Midland, says Amnelis. A message is relayed to Count Vannon to capture the royal twins at any cost. The messenger then looks at Count Vannon with some confusion. "As long as I avoid the open air, there's no risk for contamination." Vannon then wonders if the twins' flesh and blood would relieve him of his pain. Meanwhile, Rinda attempts to heal the leopard-headed man with some herbs before it gets dark. It turns out that Rinda possesses prophetic abilities, allowing her to see the future. Ramus states that she is known as Rinda Farseer, and laments that Jan, the god of fate, can be so unfair. The leopard-headed man finally wakes up and gulps down some water. He tries to pull off the apparent mask on his head, but it won't come off. "I'm Rinda, and this is my twin brother Ramus. What about you?" Guin. Guin thinks he's from Aura, but he doesn't remember that place or who he is. The group then starts a fire as night falls. Various imps surround them. "It's alright, the fire will protect us." The fire will protect us, protect us, protect us, says the imps. The three can't fall asleep. Otherwise, the nightmares will get to them. Rinda tells Guin how the kingdom of Paris fell and the holy king and queen were executed on the blue moon, which is the second full moon in a month. Guin senses that rain is imminent, meaning that the fire will soon be extinguished. Guin instructs them to climb on a horse as they make their way to the Staffaro stronghold, i.e. the enemy's castle. A deformed imp then smashes into the horse and knocks them off. It turns out that the imps have taken over the Mongoli soldiers that Guin defeated earlier, eaten and possessed by ghouls. Guin and Rina slash through them, but it's not effective, so they'll have to burn them. Guin is then shot by a crossbow in the side. The Paris royal twins, Rind and Ramus, surrender yourselves! The three are bounded up and taken to the Staffaro stronghold. Rinda sees a vision of impending doom that will befall the stronghold and yells that she doesn't want to go in. Guin then stirs awake and Rinda pleads for the soldiers to treat his wounds and let him go since he has nothing to do with them. That is for our lord to decide. The Paris twins are escorted through a crowd of onlookers. They chant Mongoli as the twins cry. The townspeople then wonder who the large creature is. The three are then presented before the Mongoli Black Count. Rinda determines that the Count has been afflicted by the Black Death. Ho ho ho! The rumor of my affliction by the Black Death has spread like wildfire in Midland. Even in Paris they've heard about it. Indeed, I am the custodian of the Staffaro stronghold, by the word of His Highness Vlad, Archduke of Mongolia, Count Vannin. Vannin is stricken with an incurable disease that causes him to rot when exposed to open air. But you'd like to watch maybe? It's a sight worth seeing. Turns out the Count was just joking. Vannin then peers over at Guin. Most fascinating. Is his appearance genuine or just a false impression? I'll take some time later to find out. Vannin demands the twins to take him to the Paris treasure. They claim they don't know what he's talking about, as Rinda sees a horrific vision. Do your worst. I am Rinda Farseer, beloved daughter of the glorious Aldrus III, and Remus is the Paris legitimate ruler. I'd rather pry the glorious jewel out of the stronger shell, says Vannin. For example, you and my decaying, suppurating self. No, stop it! Stop! Vannin needs to rest, so he instructs the third captain to put them under lock and key. Don't let the general know we've captured the twins. You will send no signal, says Vannin. He then separates the twins by putting them in different cells. The twins call out to each other, with Ramus stating they've never been separated since birth. Rinda is tossed into a dark, murky cell with something peering at her. One of the bricks in Ramus and Guin's cells falls out, with another prisoner attempting to communicate with them. My name is Istvan. Istvan the Crimson Mercenary. Istvan used to serve the fortress, but got thrown in jail for opposing Vannin. Guin states that Vannin wants to make a pugilist out of him, which is a boxer. Despite this, Guin's loyalty belongs to him and him alone. Istvan states that the fortress is cursed, and it is only a matter of time before the Nosferos-dwelling Semu clan attacks and lays the fortress to waste. Vannin has been sacrificing hunters, including his own men, to find a cure for his illness, and the Semu apes have been part of the sacrifice, hence their outrage. Istvan attempted to get himself repatriated to Taras, but it failed. I am Istvan the Spell Sword. I was born with a jewel in my hand, and it was prophesized that I'd become a king soon. Guin determines that Rinda may be sacrificed, and they need to save her as soon as possible. Guin then asks Istvan if the name Aura means anything to him. Istvan then catches a glimpse of Guin's face. By old Janus's face! Are you Silenus, the half-animal deity? Or an imp from some strange land from far away? Guin is then taken away by the castle guards, so Vannin can test his strength. Istvan tells Ramus to hand him his blanket so he can try to escape. Rinda notices a pair of eyes hiding underneath her bed. A child from the Semu clan crawls out from the bed, stating her name is Suni. A giant rat then bites on Suni's arm. Rinda pulls the rat off and chucks it into a nearby wall. Suni kisses Rinda's hand and gives her the necklace around her neck. Elsewhere, Guin is taken to a nearby empty arena. Let the show begin, says Vannin. Here's your opponent for tonight, the giant monkey of Gabor, Grey Ape. Turns out that this ape devoured 30 soldiers, and if Guin defeats him, he'll be rewarded with copious amounts of silver. The Grey Ape lunges in as we see Rinda sleeping next to Suni. Just then, a mysterious hooded figure stands above them. Istvan says his farewells to Ramus as he's ready to make his escape. The Semu clan then make their advance towards the castle walls. Rinda and Suni wake up in horror as Guin is cut open by the gray ape. A flash of lightning then sparks in the sky as the match between the two beasts continue. Leopard Man, when the hourglass has run out 3 times, you'll be given a dagger. 2 more times, and you'll have a longsword. The gray ape was able to shrug off 100 arrows like it was nothing. Guin manages to hoist the ape into the air and proceeds to smash his face into the ground. He then puts in a chokehold, but the ape manages to throw him away. 1, says Vannon. Vannon chucks a glass of liquid against the wall. Fight! Guin picks up one of the shards of glass as the ape clenches onto his head. Guin slashes the ape across the face and gives him a hard kick. Despite the ape's resistance, Guin manages to knock him down. Unfortunately, he collapses from exhaustion. What's the matter? Stand! The ape looks to smash Guin, but he evades at the last moment. One of the guards tosses Guin a sword. He lunges for it as the ape nips at his heels. With a single slash, Guin gashes into the ape. He is reminiscent of the mythical Silenus, the leopard man who once caught lightning. Truly. Guin slashes and gashes the ape until he eventually expires, making the leopard-headed man victorious. Accursed fool, I demand to know whoever threw that sword. Vannon wanted Guin to defeat the ape with his bare hands. A soldier steps forward and takes the responsibility. Vannon commands Oro to take up the sword and fight the weakened Guin. Ha 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 ha! Now, lower the stairs. Just then, Guin pops back up, runs up the stairs, and confronts Vannon. Release the Paris twins, or I snap this fortress's leader's neck. Vannon claims that if he dies and the mask breaks, that the illness will spread to everyone. Whether your mask breaks or not, we will never know until we try. Guin then mysteriously backs away, experiencing a strange feeling. The sight of such a perfect body assailed by corruption might prove entertaining. Guin lunges in to stop him, but Vannon manages to pull off his mask. Shocking Guin. Guin and Oro are henceforth placed in chains, and will meet in the battle arena at a later date. Oro admires Guin's fighting ability, as the leopard-headed man wonders what he just saw. Outside, the Semu tribe climbs the mountainside in preparation for their invasion. Ramus realizes he was deceived by Ishtavan as he thinks of his sister. He then reminisces about their escape. In the past, they entered the Janus Tower and stepped onto a large platform. Before dying, the minister managed to send the twins away before the Mongoli forces captured them. Everyone is dead. Soon it will be our turn. Guin then returns to Ramus. As the boy hugs him, he hears a familiar voice. Elsewhere, Rinda wonders if this hooded man is Vannon and tells him to stay away. The sight she sees is beyond words. The guards in the tower talk about Guin and how he's a spitting image of Silenus. Just then, the Semu apes kill one of the guards and storm the castle. Rinda then notices that the mysterious man is missing. Am I infected by the Black Death too? News spreads that the castle is under attack, making Rinda realize that the stronghold was really doomed. Guin says they need to save Rinda as the Semu apes use their bows and arrows to attack the castle. The battle quickly becomes a bloodbath of epic proportions. Despite defensive strategies, the Semu climb the castle walls with their bare hands. This is the biggest raid the tribe has ever undertaken, but the Mongoli will protect the castle with every last soldier, if need be. Guin instructs Ramus to stand aside as he looks to break down the cell door. The Semu tribe uses giant logs to break down the castle walls. Fires rage on within the castle walls, with severed heads and limbs flying in every direction. Several guards release Guin so he can be taken to safety. Arrows start flying in as the Semu apes flood the area. Guin lunges out from his cell to cut the apes to pieces. He and Ramus then use the opportunity to escape. The scene inside the castle looks like something straight out of hell. Staffrow is done for! I guess this is the end! A guard knocks on the Count's door, asking what should be done. If the apes really want this fortress so badly, let them have it. Whether this gate is taken or not doesn't matter to me. Vannon opens the door to his room, horrifying the soldier. Meanwhile, Guin slices down the apes as him and Ramus search for Rinda. The two eventually reach the last room on the top floor. Rinda, are you there? The twins embrace each other as they look at each other through the cell bars. The Semu apes come around the corner, so Guin takes them out. Unfortunately, their numbers are too great for Guin to handle on his own. Just then, Oro cuts down as many apes as possible. Ramus opens the cell door as the twins embrace each other once more. Guin thanks Oro for saving him a second time, as the latter says they need to hurry. In an instant, an arrow impales Oro's head. Guin takes down the apes and grabs the dying Oro. My father, Gotaro, runs it. He's a good man. He'll want to know that his son is dead. Stop by the smoke and pipe in, should you ever need help in Torres. Oro passes away as Guin grabs his weapon, the sword of a hero. He then uses it to combat the oncoming apes. Rinda tells Suni to tell the apes they're on the same side. Rinda attempts to keep the apes at bay, but Guin grabs the twins and begins to run. They lock themselves in a prison cell and wedge the door shut with a bed. Guin states that Suni is not part of their tribe, and they are, in fact, enemies. Karo tribesmen torture and eat their war prisoners in sacrifice to their gods. Guin tells Rinda that she must fight till the very last breath. That is the true meaning of honor. As the apes break through the door, a hole in the wall reveals itself. The group jumps down in a free fall. After landing, the group comes to the consensus that they were floating in midair before they landed, which seems very odd. The group sees a passageway, but Rinda senses great evil inside. Guin smells blood as Remus states he can barely breathe. A vague spirit flashes in and out of existence. The group is then horrified to come upon a collection of skulls and bones. Indeed, victims of the Black Count Vannin, sacrifices. You are correct. Stopping the progression of my illness requires the warmth of lifeblood and fresh meat, says Vannin. The time has come to unleash my curse upon the world. Stafforo has fallen. Let my curse befall everything and everyone. Jan, by whose decree I became what I am. Janus, who gave his approval. My fatherland, Mongolia, and you. Without hesitation, Guin approaches the Count. Vannin wonders why he doesn't seem to fear the plague. I don't know who you are, but you're certainly no Black Count, Vannin. Have you lost your mind, Leopard Man? Let the Black Death take you. Guin then grabs onto the Black Count's sword, pulls it out swiftly, and cuts him down in the middle. The armor then appears to be empty. Well, not quite empty. It was filled with a fiery, demonic spirit that now wants to kill Guin. That thing is of the same kind as the ghouls we met in the Rudewood. The group hears the Semu tribe approaching them, so Guin instructs the twins to run away. The apes stare at Vannin. Guin claims that Count Vannin was devoured by a ghoul who was brought in for his treatment, eventually consuming even his knowledge. The group reaches a dead end, with the spirit of Count Vannin materializing through the wall. Judging from your plague-ridden body, you are Count Vannin. His manner of death was a curse to deny him the underworld. Vannin tells him that Stafforo will go up in flames soon. Guin instructs him to go on peacefully to the underworld. Did you just smile? Says Rinda. The Count begins fading to the underworld, but before he does, he points the group towards an escape route. Guin slaughters the Semu apes as the twins discover the secret passageway hidden within the wall. As they catch a glimpse of the outside, fires rage on as plumes of smoke consume the air. Unfortunately, their path has been cut off. Guin's sword breaks in half as the apes corner him on the ledge. The Leopard Man manages to throw 3 of the apes off, but they are quickly cornered off by a horde. Children, brace yourselves. Rinda determines that the fall from such a height would probably kill them. Plus, the river is infested with imps. If we stay here, we are guaranteed to die, says Guin. The apes confront them, but Guin leaps off the edge, with Rinda and Remus clenching onto his body. Semu bastards. They withdrew without even a feast to celebrate their victory. Alright, it's getting late. Time to move out. Istvan walks by a small cave, finding Rinda, Ramus, and Guin sleeping inside. He then marvels over Rinda's beauty, saying that she will be fought over in the future. Guin stirs awake, startling Istvan. The twins wake up too, feeling a sense of relief. Istvan reminds them that the Mongolian army will send reinforcements, so this is no time to rest. Elsewhere, at the castle of Arvon, a man with an orb determines that Stavro has been destroyed. The Lord determines that Vannon is dead and that the Semu apes have withdrawn. The Udajin general will be there shortly. Lady Amnelis then confronts a bowing Count Ricardo. Lady Amnelis is aware of the Stavro downfall and laments that they lost a pivotal defensive asset in the northwest region. For now, however, we are to fulfill our greatest responsibilities. She wants the reinforcements to concentrate their efforts on Stavro's reconstruction and to locate the Paris twins. Meanwhile, Ramus blames Istvan for betraying him, but Istvan responds with, "If I let you lying down by the riverside, you'd be Semu food by now. So let's call it even." Istvan introduces himself to Rinda. Upon looking at him, she experiences a profound vision. That exact same thing happened when we met the strange warrior Guin for the first time. What is this feeling? The twins want to head out to Argos. Istvan states that the king of Paris' younger sister is married there. Guin states he needs to find out what aura means. Despite Istvan's vast travels, he admits that Guin is the most bizarre thing he has ever seen in his life. Rinda snaps at him. Guin wants to avoid the Mongolian army by traveling across the Nosferos territory. "Guin, that's suicide!" Guin says they have no other option, but Istvan offers up a solution. He suggests that they make a raft and travel down the Kess River. Although the imps live in there, it's better than walking. The four scavenge for food and supplies, eventually finding a makeshift raft. Alright, off we go. Lady Amnelis states they will march in 4 hours. She asks Count Ricard why the Semu apes would raid Stavro when the twins just arrived there. She then proclaims that they'll raid Nosferos. Amnelis fears the other two countries will join forces and strike down Mongolia. They thusly need to capture the twins and unleash the unknown science that they may possess. But first, they must squash the Nosferos barbarians for safety, so that their proverbial backs are not exposed. Gaius, what do the stars say? The threads of fate are entangled, and there is no clear way to tell what the future holds for us. One thing is clear though. Amongst the gathering of stars stands a large carnivore, and the confusing change of course that is theirs occurring on their behalf. Lady Amnelis seems skeptical as she sets off. Elsewhere, Rinda marvels at the water, but Guin warns her that this is the borderland and it is dangerous. Rinda performs a prayer. "Tell me, girl, ever heard about the Dame of Light?" Guin tells Suni if she sees her home to let him know, but she says she doesn't want to part ways with Rinda. The group then wonders why Kess, the river of hell, is so calm right now. Ramus then wonders why the two sides of the river are so vastly different. One side is for humans, and the other is the domain of imps, Nosferos. Istvan recounts a story he heard from his grandfather. The land of Nosferos releases a miasma that turns all living things into monstrosities. The two great Nosferon races, the gigantic Ragan and the dwarf-like Semu, used to be ordinary humans. The group decides to camp on the Mongoli side for the night. Unfortunately, they notice the Mongoli troops on the shore. The Mongoli identify the children as the Paris twins. They pull out their crossbows, instructing them to steer towards the shore. All of a sudden, something underwater approaches them. A large sea monster bites down on the raft. Istvan attacks it, but it's no use. Guin instructs him to move aside, so he can whack it with the boat's oar. The creature then sinks downward, only for it to resurface. What was that thing? The river may be a place of darkness, but still, it's the first time I've ever seen a ringworm that big. With them losing the raft, they have no other choice but to cross the dangerous Nosferos territory. I've been notified that the twins entered the Nosferos region upon reaching the border patrol. We shall cross the river, attack Nosferos, and capture the Paris twins. Fear not the Nosferos perils. Carry out your orders for the fatherland's welfare. Hail Mongolia. Now that officially ends the manga section of Guin Saga. Now, that was volume 3, and the first 3 volumes are about 150, 160 pages a piece. So roughly we got about 24 chapters of the story. Now, the total story consists of about 140 volumes. So 3 out of 140, you didn't get too much of the story. Now, if you want, there is a volume 4 and 5 in English, however they are light novels. So if you are interested in continuing the story and learning more about the Guin Saga world, go right ahead. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to find that for yourself. Now, the one other thing I want to mention as well is that there's also a Guin Saga anime. Now, the Guin Saga anime is alright. I won't say it's good or great. I really wanted to like this. I was like, it felt good at first. However, it's only rated PG, and as you can tell from the manga, this is more of an R-rated manga and an R-rated story. So taking those elements and trying to cram it into a PG sort of series, it just didn't work for me. I mean, I liked the concepts. There were so many moments where I felt like it could have been great, but it just never got there for me. And if you go through the first 3 episodes, which kind of covers the first 3 volumes of the manga, it goes by so fast. Like, they skipped so much information, they changed certain story points, even the characters themselves kind of feel a little tropey and a little bit off. So yeah, I mean, if it was PG-13, I could have seen myself liking it, but taking an R-rated story and converting it into a PG anime series just didn't work out too well. So it is what it is, but if you want to watch it anyway and immerse yourselves in the world of Guin Saga, go right ahead. Tell me what you guys think of the video, and I'll catch you on the flip side.